"Oh!" Claire exclaimed, and then realized that Charlie had attacked her. She hurriedly pretended to be frightened and said, "Ah. I kindly fed the puppy, but I got bitten by the puppy." Charlie opened his mouth while eating strawberries. He said vaguely, "Okay, if your husband is a puppy, then what are you?" Claire snorted proudly and said, "I am feeding the puppy, and of course I am the owner of the puppy." Charlie smiled and said, "If I were a puppy, then you would be the bone in my mouth." Claire smiled and said, "How can you compare people to bones like this?" Charlie said earnestly, "Don't you know that the puppy is the most protective of the food? A bone is in the mouth, and the sky will not loosen when the sky falls. If anyone dares to snatch it, it must fight hard." Seeing Charlie's seriousness, Claire was very moved, and couldn't help but said shyly, "If this is the case, then I will reluctantly be a bone, let you hold on to it." Charlie laughed and said, "Don't just talk, eat some fruit first." Claire nodded, picked up 2 more strawberries, first stuffed one into Charlie's mouth, and then she put the second one in his mouth, and took a bite. Charlie looked at her computer screen and found that a very large prototype of the design had been constructed in the design software. He couldn't help but ask her, "My wife, you have to do the design of such a big project by yourself?" Claire said, "Not really. What I am doing now is a sketch, because there is no need to make a very detailed design plan when bidding. The main purpose is to reflect a general idea. When we wait for the bid, we need to give this design plan and a more detailed decoration budget quotation from the past, but my studio now has relatively few staff. For such a large project, everyone has to move on, so I am responsible for drawing, others focus on integrating suppliers of various materials and actuarial project costs. This amount of engineering is really huge. At least hundreds of suppliers have to be connected to thousands of single products." Charlie nodded and said distressedly, "Don't be too tired. Pay attention to the combination of work and rest." Claire smiled and said, "Don't worry, just these few days. After finishing these few days, package and submit the entire bidding documents, and then wait for the internal review of Emgrand Group. If it passes, I will quickly expand the recruiting team. After that," Claire said seriously, "if my project is completed, then you won't have to work so hard in the future and make money alone to support the family. Our family's overall expenses are very high now, and the villa property costs are more than 100,000 a year, let alone other things. Most of the profits made by my studio before have been invested in expansion, and I have never been able to subsidize the family and cannot share it for you, so this time I have to strive to win this project and make some contributions to the family." Charlie knows Claire's character very well. She never cared about money, and she didn't have any requirements for food, clothing, housing, and transportation. The reason why she wants to start a business and make money now is ultimately for her family. So he said softly from the bottom of his heart, "My wife, thank you." Claire said seriously, "I want to thank you. For so long, you have been supporting us at home. My parents and I are depending on you." Charlie hurriedly said, "What are you talking about? It is only right for your husband to make money to support the family. For the first 3 years of marriage, I didn't make a penny, so I did laundry and cook at home. You never disliked me. I now bear more. That's nothing." Claire smiled and said sincerely, "The most important thing is that we can always understand and tolerate each other like this. It is more meaningful than making money. Just like before, although you didn't make a penny, you always did housework. You're well organized and take care of me in all aspects. This is more important than making money." What Charlie is most grateful to Claire for is that she has never disliked his apparent origin during these years of marriage. After all, a person whose parents died at the age of 8, grew up in an orphanage, only has a high school diploma recognized by the state, and had nothing, almost penniless. Put it anywhere, it is definitely not a quality marriage from any angle. However, she, the #1 beauty in Orus Hill, married him without complaint, and they are married for 4 years. In the past 4 years, countless people have persuaded her to divorce him, and she has not wavered even once. From this alone, Charlie was very grateful to her in his heart. During the recent period, Charlie also wanted to find an opportunity to confess his life experience to Claire, but he was a little hesitant when he thought of the fact that his parents hadn't reported their grievances or even the cause of their parents' death could not be ascertained. Now, all he can find out is an anti-Wade alliance. When his parents were still in Eastcliff, the anti-Wade alliance did a lot of things against them, but in his childhood memory, his parents decided to leave the Wade family not because of the anti-Wade alliance, but because of his father Changying Wade. He had a big quarrel with his grandfather Zhongchen Wade about something. After that quarrel, the parents decided to leave the Wade family, and the family of 3 had to come to Oru's Hill to live an ordinary life. But soon after coming to Oru's Hill, his parents died unexpectedly. However, Charlie has always firmly believed that the death of his parents was by no means an accident and that there must be a murderer motive behind this. It's just that he now has no clue as to who killed his parents. First of all, he didn't know whether the Wade family was an enemy or a friend. Secondly, he didn't know what role the Sioux family played in this matter. Once again, he remembered that Leon said that his father had offended the Rothschild family that dominated Europe and the United States at the time, so he is not sure whether the Rothschild killed his parents. There are wolves in the front, tigers in the back, and a fierce behemoth on the other side of the ocean. Although Charlie has some strength now, he still feels like walking on thin ice. The Wade family, what is known, what is hidden, what is tucked away, all assets add up to at least trillions. The Sioux family not only has more assets than the Wade family, but the overall strength is stronger than that of the Wade family. Although it has suffered a serious setback recently, it still cannot be underestimated. Trillions sound like a fantasy, but in fact, looking at the world, trillions of family assets are nothing at all. On the global ranking of the richest people, the number 1 is Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, whose personal assets are equivalent to more than 1 trillion. Moreover, this is only to be seen. No rich man will publish all his assets. What is published is often just the tip of the iceberg. As for the giant-like Rothschild family, it can already be called a wealthy country in itself.